The bog bean buck moth feeds on bog buck bean. Chances are this statement made absolutely no sense to any of you, but for me, it's a treasure map, one that led me deep into the bogs of upstate New York. Though to understand how and why, I need to take you back to earlier this year. If you remember, this January I released this poster of every extinct butterfly known from around the world as my first piece of Atlas Pro merch. There's still a few of these left, by the way, link in the description. Anyway, putting this together demanded I do lots of research on my computer, and so ever since then, virtually every ad served to me has had to do either with extinction, butterflies, or extinct butterflies, which is how this article was eventually suggested to me. Rare moths living in upstate New York listed as endangered species. It's almost as if this headline was constructed to appeal specifically to me. So of course I had to click on the article, and I'm glad I did, as it's where I learned the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services yesterday listed the bog bean buck moth as an endangered species. These moths live in only a handful of peat wetlands called fens in Oswego County, New York, and in Ontario, Canada. The bog buck bean, the moth's host plant, grows in this unique habitat which occupies less than 1% of New York State. Instantly, I was intrigued. New York isn't exactly known for its unique wildlife, so after learning both how special and how threatened this moth is, I wanted to do everything in my power to help raise awareness, which in my case means making a video about them. The only problem is that there's virtually no footage of this moth anywhere online, and the best we have are some questionable photographs, so there's nothing for me to actually make a video about them with. Learning this, I couldn't help but think of all the extinct animals we do have footage for, and how in some cases this is all that keeps the memory of them alive. Without any such video evidence of their existence, who's to say anyone would actually remember these moths if they were to disappear entirely? Well, fortunately, Oswego County is only a 2-hour drive from where I live, so I think it's clear what I need to do. It's up to me to venture out into these bogs to try to capture a glimpse of these elusive moths before it's too late. Alright, just like all good adventures, 90% of the work that goes into them happens right here in my office during the research and planning phase. Before I even consider setting foot in a bog, I need to know exactly what I'm searching for and exactly where to search. So let's start with what I imagine you're all probably wondering. What the heck even is a bog bean buck moth? Well, to tell the truth, scientists don't really know. As it stands now, the moth belongs to what's called the buck moth species complex. Simply put, there's one species, the buck moth, Hemiluca maya, that lives all throughout this region, feeding on a variety of food plants. However, certain environments, such as these unique lakeside bogs, have caused the populations within them to become isolated from the outside, almost like an island. This has resulted in at least 11 different species of buck moth, plus 4 subspecies arising across this range, together constituting the buck moth species complex. Specifically, the population of buck moths that arose in these bogs came to rely on just a single plant for food, bog buckbean, also known simply as bog bean. Like its name suggests, bog bean only grows within wetland ecosystems known as bogs or fens, where constant inundation with water creates less than optimal conditions for trees to grow, allowing for the succession of ferns, grasses, shrubs, and a whole lot of sphagnum moss. Even more information can be gleaned from its Latin name, Minianthes trifoliata, as this specific part, trifoliata, breaks down to mean 3 leaves, which is important because that's how we'll be able to identify it when we see it out in the field. Together, the tall grasses, ferns, and bog bean, otherwise known as the plant community hosted in this bog, is totally unlike that of its immediate surroundings, and more closely resemble this area thousands of years ago at the end of the last ice age. Over time, the buck moth population here adapted to these conditions, resulting in a distinct member of the family, the bog bean buck moth. Though by this point you must be wondering, was this enough to produce an entirely new species or just another subspecies? And like I said a minute ago, scientists don't really know. The very first scientific description of this moth came from this paper authored by Harry Pavulon, published just 5 years ago on April 1st, 2020. In this, Pavulon wrote how the bog buckbean population of northern New York State utilizing Minianthes trifoliata as larval host has unique status and is recognized as endangered in that state. However, it is unnamed and lacks formal description. The hope is this paper will lay the groundwork for continued studies of subspecific taxa and promote conservation efforts, such as in the case of the bogbean buck moth. Long story short, Pavulon eventually described the moth as Hemiluca maya minianthivora, a mere subspecies, though even he had his doubts about this, as he later wrote this may actually represent a full species, and went on to describe how this subspecies is the most unique of all the Maya complex populations, and likely represents a different species-level taxon. So we have some mixed signals from this first source. But then, literally the next day, so April 2nd, 2020, an entirely separate taxonomic description of the moth was published in this book. To tell the truth, this book was a pretty wild read, as it starts off normal enough before veering into a paradigm shift where we start learning about the chaotic mandala, Maya star thrower, soul prescience, and some stuff that's genuinely beyond my level of comprehension. But by the end of it, the authors do return to the subject of this moth, where they describe it as Hemiluca iroquois, that is to say its own distinct species within the buck moth complex. What this means is that I wasn't kidding earlier, there truly is no scientific consensus on what the bogbean buck moth actually is. But either way, what's clear is that this moth constitutes an exceedingly unique population here in upstate New York, one that by the sounds of it demands and deserves further study, which only makes raising awareness and preserving them through video all the more important. Though now that we know what we're searching for, all that's left to do is figure out where exactly to search. For that, I turned to these two reports, one published by the New York Department of Environmental Conservation back in 2014, and the other is from the Fish and Wildlife Services more recently in December of 2020. As it stands now, the bogbean buck moth was only ever known from 5 populations, 2 located in Ontario, Canada, and then 3 here in New York. If you're curious about this distribution, I'll remind you once more that a few thousand years ago, glaciers covered these lands. Though as the Earth warmed back up and the ice melted away, they supplied numerous periglacial lakes, which in turn supported vast systems of temporary wetlands all across North America. This transient mosaic of swamps, fens, and bogs provided the evolutionary breeding grounds for the bogbean buck moth, only for the glaciers to eventually retreat entirely, causing many of these bogs to dry out, leaving only a handful of remnant habitats scattered across the interior, which is what we're seeing here. At first, things here don't look so bad, but if you flip to another map in this report, one that shows the current condition of these populations, we'll find only the 2 sites in Canada remain green, indicating they are likely to remain good, while those in New York tell a different story. This northern one is black, indicating the population here has become fully extirpated, or in other words, have completely died out on account of this bog having been entirely destroyed by human activity. Then there's this one down here that's gray, meaning it too is presumed extirpated, as no moths were found here in 2018, 2019, or 2020, despite the use of a pheromone lure. That leaves only one site in all of New York, and even this is represented by a yellow dot, indicating the population here is in poor condition. While yeah, this doesn't sound promising, it does imply there is still a population of moths living here, making this bog the last place in this entire state, in the entire country really, where this moth can be found, and so that's where I decided to focus my efforts. This map, however, isn't the most precise, as it left me with a pretty ginormous search radius, so to narrow this area down even further, I read into this report, where I learned this population can be broken down into a number of subpopulations, referred to in this as Lakeside 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A map of these 5 subpopulations has even been provided, though I must warn you, this might actually be the lowest resolution map I've ever had to use in a video. Even still, we can make out the shape of the New York coastline on Lake Ontario, and then right alongside it are these 5 red areas. Though for our viewing ease, I'm going to trace these rough outlines over some satellite imagery. Doing this, suddenly our map makes a whole lot more sense, as you can see the shapes of these habitats correspond almost perfectly with a visible change in the landscape. Outside these areas, the dominant vegetation is trees, forming a green forest, but within these bogs, constant inundation with water has given rise to thick hedges and tall grasses, which appear more brown from above. Seeing it like this, it seems pretty obvious now where these moths are going to be, so all that's left to do is jump in the car and head over to Oswego, right? Well, no. These 5 bogs are still pretty big, and if I'm to have any luck finding something as small and as rare as an endangered moth, I'm going to need a better understanding of each of these sites, starting with Lakeside 1. Otherwise known as the Rainbow Shores Bog, this is a very fitting place to begin our journey, as in this report we'll learn the first population of Hemiluca Iroquois was discovered at Rainbow Shores Bog in 1977. However, further in, we'll read how at Rainbow Shores Bog, flying adults have not been sighted since 2003, despite annual surveying. Moths were abundant at this site in 1994 and 1996, crashed in 1996, and were very sparse through 2003. And by now, this site appears to have been extirpated. Altogether, it sounds like our chances for finding moths here are next to none, and deeper in this report we'll learn why, as Lakeside 1 was once a single fin with Lakeside 2, but Cottage Road was installed and separated the two. This is something else we can clearly see from above, where we'll find this large area bisected by this single feature. Not too long ago, however, this was one continuous bog, with water flowing freely between them, allowing it to support substantial groves of bog bean. After this road was constructed, however, the Lakeside 1 fin may have become isolated from its groundwater source. By 2001, it was reported that fin habitat had contracted from 6 to 2 hectares, and by 2014, it was found that vegetation in Lakeside 1 was succeeding to a black spruce tamarack bog forest with deep sphagnum, taller shrubs, and scarce buckbean. Or, in other words, without its source of water, this bog has been drying up for the past 20 years, and so it's probably not worth my time to search. The same goes for Lakeside 2, where a bogbean buckmoth hasn't been spotted since 2012, despite searches having been conducted in 2013, 14, 15, 16, and 18. It would appear that construction of just one road has altered the hydrology of both Lakeside 1 and 2 to the point where neither are suitable habitats anymore. Not to mention, they're also both on private property and were marked everywhere with these intimidating posted signs warning me against trespassing. Normally, this wouldn't have really intimidated me, but after a little more research, I learned the owner of these lands is actually the Nature Conservancy, a fantastic organization dedicated to protecting critical habitats all around the world, including right here in upstate New York, apparently. So I very much respect their desire to not have idiots like me trudging through their fragile ecosystem in the name of internet glory. This narrows down our search to only these 3 areas, which fortunately all fall within the Deer Creek Wildlife Management Area, which I do have permission to explore. Reading more from this report, we'll learn how Lakeside 3 has shown the most extreme fluctuation pattern, as it's considered to be an overflow site which has supported a regular low abundance population. This is made pretty clear by looking at this graph, where the line stays steady but low until 2007 when the population spiked. In this other report, we'll read even better news. 2 moths were observed here as recently as 2018, though none have been seen since. While it's not much, this site already seems way more promising than Lakeside 1 or 2, and I have reason to believe there may still be a population here today. Lakeside 4, on the other hand, lies just on the other side of Deer Creek in what appears to be another overflow channel. Here in this report, we can learn the Deer Creek Marsh South population was first surveyed in 1992 when 11 larvae were found. The largest number of individuals found in subsequent surveys is 6. This again isn't a very high number, but I guess it's more than 2, though in this report we'll also learn how the moth was last observed here in 2007 and none were found in 2012 or 2013, even with a lure, and it looks like researchers didn't even bother to visit in 2018 or 2019. That's probably because this too was never considered a true subpopulation, but a spillover site. While this again doesn't sound very promising, based on what I read, I don't think we can fully rule out this site either. However, that leaves Lakeside 5, which appears to be the most promising site by far, as this report tells how the most recent counts taken in 2018 and 2019 yielded a mean of 30 and 44 moths per count. If we look back to the population graph, Lakeside 5 is the only one that wasn't in terminal decline or already at 0, but actually seemed to be recovering. That makes this single small bog the final stronghold for this species in the state. And with that, I believe we now know exactly where I need to search. So I guess it's time to head up to Oswego and take a look for myself. There's just one small problem with this plan, something I didn't foresee until I was already there: access. You see, even though these lands are public, that doesn't mean they're easy to get to, and out of these 3 sites, the only one with any sort of entrance was Lakeside 3, so this is where I began this expedition. Here, the Deer Creek Wildlife Services manages a parking lot and some walking trails. Although none of these would actually take me into the bog, at least this allowed me to park my car, and from here I could walk out onto this forested peninsula. This hike was short and easy, as it looks like this area had once been cleared, allowing me to walk straight through until I reached the very end of this spit of land. Everything beyond this point was inundated with water. This is what that looked like from the ground. Trees giving way to dense grasses and shrubs, blocking any attempt at entering the bog from this direction. And this was my first big surprise, as this whole time I'd kind of been picturing a perfectly flat, mushy plain that I'd be able to walk out onto no problem, but it turns out the bog is surrounded on all sides by a virtually impassable flooded thicket. Though I didn't drive 2 hours for nothing, so after some more searching on Google Earth, I spotted this small estuary running through the cattails, leading from this forested peninsula straight into the heart of the bog. It didn't take me long to locate this split in the grass, which opened up into a nice little beach area.
That's where I'll be going in. All that's left to do is change into some waders, and that'll be me. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty sketchy. Oh God. Oh, not seeing where you're going. There's mud. Can I stick it above? That'd be cool. Look, it came from all the way over there. You know, I just had the thought, what am I doing? I'm really out here looking for a bog moth? Oh, it's got a lot deeper right there. Really not knowing where I'm stepping is like the most terrifying thing. Oh God. Oh my goodness. Oh. Whoa. That was deep. This is the end. Whoa. I don't think I've seen any bog beans so far. Whoa. Oh, it smells bad over here too. Uh-oh. I'm stuck. This mud is so thick, my legs keep getting stuck. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, you got there right in time. You guys want to see where I am? Can you see it? I can't. I can't see anything. Maybe you can. What do you think? Am I close? Well, I guess I gotta keep going. Oh. Maybe I should turn like this. Oh, look at that. I'm almost at what I think is the creek. And once we're there, that's when the search begins. This is just the commute to the office. Whoa! I'm not stepping there. Oh man. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know about this. Okay. Oh wow. Here, I gotta switch this around. You guys gotta see. I'm at the creek now.
After a while of pushing through the dense grasses, I finally arrived at the creek in the center, but here I encountered some more problems. First, I wasn't seeing any bog bean, which are pretty easy to identify thanks to their clusters of 3 leaves. Second, there didn't seem to be anywhere else to go from here, as the creek was way too wide to cross. And lastly, my GoPro's battery was getting low.
Knowing that I'm in Site 3, I think I'm ready to start searching, but my GoPro's about to die and I don't have another camera, so I'm gonna just do some real quick searching and then I guess I'll come back here tomorrow. Or later, I guess. I'm gonna just try to push it that way as far as possible though. Hopefully I don't see anything cool without my camera.
So of course, just a few seconds later, I stepped on a soft patch of ground and plunged straight into the water.
I don't know if you guys can see, but I just fell in. Look, can you see all the water? I don't know if I just destroyed my phone or not, and I'm soaked in water.
And that's when my GoPro died. So I made my way back through the reeds to dry land and charged batteries.
I don't know what to do.
This officially concluded my first day of searching for the bog bean buck moth, and as I trudged back through the forest in my soaking wet clothes, I decided tomorrow I needed to find a better way to enter this bog. So the next day I parked my car over at this lot to see if I couldn't enter the bog from another angle, but long story short, all I found was more of the same, an impenetrable wall of weeds. Thoroughly thwarted from entering Lakeside 3, I decided maybe it was time to try visiting Lakeside 4 instead. But here is where I ran into my true nemesis for this video, the Brennan Beach Campground. You see, if you hadn't noticed, smack dab in the middle of this wildlife management area lies what I can only describe as a private, upscale trailer park where people live out of their RVs and mobile homes. And besides the obvious environmental issue this park poses to the surrounding boglands, my big issue with this place is that it's a private campground, meaning its entrance was gated and I wasn't allowed in. This made accessing Lakeside 4 incredibly difficult, as Deer Creek blocked me in from the north and the campground from the south. Incredibly difficult, but not impossible. You see, the third and final parking lot for this wildlife area is all the way over here, miles away from where I need to be, but at least it puts me on the right side of Deer Creek. From here, it's possible to walk through this narrow stretch of forest right along the outskirts of this campground until you reach this point where it becomes Deer Creek management land again. This hike was a bit more difficult as it consisted of walking straight through a densely forested area for what feels like no reason at all considering how close you are to a road. But whatever, if you do make this hike and find yourself on this lower peninsula, you'll encounter the same dilemma I found at Lakeside 3, an absolutely impassable wall of flooded reeds and branches. And I know it doesn't really look that bad on camera, but trust me, there's no entering this bog from this direction. So even after 2 days of exhaustive efforts, I was yet to catch more than a glimpse of this bog. But I told myself, you know what, that's fine, because neither of these two sites sounded all that promising anyways, and Lakeside 5 was always my best bet for seeing these moths. However, I soon learned there might be a reason this bog is the best preserved of the group, as it was also by far the hardest to access. For starters, it's already disconnected from the rest of the wildlife management area, but then it's also bordered on 3 sides by private land, cutting off most ways of entering it. I mean, I guess it might be possible to enter from the public road, but then not only would I have to worry about my car left by the side of the road, but I'd also have to trek the long way to get to this pond, the only true area of interest within the bog. Rather, the easiest way to get here appears to be from the opposite side of the bog, where it looks like some trails have already been trampled, leading straight to where I want to go. Unfortunately, this access point is entirely cut off by the Brennan Beach campground. So where do we go from here? Well, technically, if you start hiking from this parking lot, it is possible to enter this campground on foot, and from here, it's a short walk over to this entryway.
Alright, so let me explain what I'm doing today. Yesterday, I didn't film very much. I went on a scouting mission through this forest, and I didn't bring any of my gear, because it's a lot heavier to bring your gear with. But now, I know where I'm going. I know that if I go through this forest long enough, I'll get to the Brennan Beach campground. And from there, I can walk on their roads until I get to Lakeside 5, the Selkirk site. It's about a 3-mile walk through forest and through trails, but I'm excited. This site is the only site that has seen bog bean buck moths for the past, I don't know, 10, 20 years. All the other sites I went to they didn't even really have a chance of being there. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to see what the environment was like, see if I could find any bog bean, which maybe I just need to get lucky. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that says it all, doesn't it?
Now, technically, I can't recommend any of you do this, as that would be trespassing. But if you did go through with this and found yourself here, you'd end up with a view similar to this.
Okay, I'm officially in Lakeside 5, Selkirk Bog. I'm speaking quietly though because the campground is right over there and I don't want them to hear me, but here, It's this way into the actual bog. You can see it's really muddy. My feet just sink in, look. I guess you can't really see it, but it is wet. It's wet, and I don't know how far out I'm gonna make it. But this is the best bog I've seen so far. Oh God, it's just anywhere you step could be. I'm gonna try to hop on these islands. Oh God. All right, I gotta turn the camera around. All right, so this is where I am right now. I'm trying to get this way. I'm trying to get through there. Gonna film what it looks like trying to maneuver through this place. I gotta film my feet so they know why it's so hard to get through here. This is why I don't have any time to look for moths. Because I'm trying to make sure I don't fall in. Where I can go. It's just you have no idea how deep any of these puddles are. Oh God. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna get much further than this. Oh my God. Should I just start looking around? This still isn't quite the bog. The bog is further that way. But I don't know if I can pass through this. Not only is it here, I'm gonna show you where I'm standing right now. These are my feet, all right? You see, I'm standing here, and then this is the ground. And this is, I don't know if you can see how bouncy the floor is, but it's all like this everywhere. This is what the bog is. Maybe I should be filming more. I'm filming right now. On the one hand, this is really tough terrain. On the other, this is the furthest I've gotten into a bog without getting soaking wet. So I think I might just have to start looking around here. That's the thing too. I don't even know. Without bog bean, I don't know if any of this is actually a good area to search. I could be wasting my time. Oh God, I think I gotta, I don't know what to do. It's too crowded. And some of this might, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh. Maybe I should film my feet while I'm walking. Maybe that'll just appreciate what I'm doing more. Oh. That's not stable. Oh gosh. I just heard a loud bang. I don't think it was a gunshot. Oh my gosh. But I don't know what it was. Oh, I should have brought my waders. This might actually be wadeable. Yeah, this is fine to wade through. It's just, I don't want to get it. Oh my God. I guess this would be a good time to explain that these are one of the few moths that in New York that fly during the day. So it's not like I'm just making a fool out of myself looking for a moth while the sun is shining. This is the time when they're supposed to be out and flying. Maybe I'll just sit still and wait to see if I can see anything. I gotta keep going. I feel like I get lost in here too. Oh man, I might just try to take some B-roll and think about what I'm doing before I go gung-ho on this bog. All right, let's do that. Oh yeah. I don't know. This is what I was describing when I said there was a thicket. It's not just that there's a bog. You know, if this was all just flat, I'd be able to get through it no problem. The fact of the matter is, there's nowhere to go. It's all just, everywhere that looks like path is water. That's the thing, that's probably what you can't understand by just looking at it on the camera. But this is water. I can't step in this. Oh crap, look. See? Oh man. Oh, like here. Look, this looks like solid ground. Oh, but you step in it and it sucks you right in. Of course, my GoPro's dying again. I thought these batteries were supposed to last forever. Let me tell you, there's no room whatsoever to push through. I either gotta wade through water, or I'm not getting through this. This is what explorers must have felt like or something. Can you see me? This is what I look like right now. I'm on this tiny little island, surrounded by water. And no hope for advancing, really. There's nowhere to step, maybe over here. Oh God. Oh, my foot just went in the water. These boots are waterproof, but only until they're not. Oh man, I can't even see where to put my feet. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think the bog might be defeating me here. Can I get over there? It's like I haven't moved an inch in like 5 minutes, and I have not seen 30 or 40 bogbean buck moths either. So I'm gonna take that as a bad sign. I'm gonna try to. Oh, it's just I don't want to get anywhere that I can't get back from. Oh God. You guys know if there are any animals in bogs like this? Oh God. Because I don't. I said I saw a fisher. I don't think one would bother me. I just had the thought, what if there's like leeches or something? I guess I don't know. I gotta save my camera though. Here. Okay, let me show you guys what I'm looking at. This is where I am right now. You guys see? You see the water?
While it might seem like I'd finally reached an entryway into the bog, there was one last problem, one that Pawulan tried to warn me about. This area is surrounded on all sides by a deep moat. So not only do dense shrubs block you from moving, but the ground also casually gives way to bottomless holes of mud, making it quite the struggle to advance.
This thicket is no joke. Oh man, I can't get out of here. Or I can't get into here. I can't get into this frickin' bog.
Now theoretically, this area is passable. The only issue is that the hike to get here was already so strenuous and risky that I actually didn't bring my waders with me, so I wasn't able to push any further than a couple meters into the bog before risking falling in again.
I think I have to turn around. I think I reached the end of where I can get to without waders. I'm so dumb, I should have brought them. I'm just so sketched out by him now. All right. I just don't want to regret, I don't want to leave here and for the rest of my life kick myself for not going one step further, but I want to make it clear to myself in the future. There's no getting through this. I tried everything I can. My legs, I'm split between two islands. I've been standing here. I don't think I'm making it.
To tell the truth, this came as quite a disappointment, as by now I'd spent 3 full days searching for ways in without even seeing the bog and felt no closer to witnessing these threatened creatures.
Okay, I'm calling it. I don't think I'm finding this moth or its food plant. So, I'm hiking back through the woods. Whoa, chipmunk right there. My GoPro is nearly dead. I was trying to save the last bit of its battery for if I saw one, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I might as well film this. I don't know where my microphones went. I hope the GoPro audio is picking this up. I hope I don't just have minutes of me walking through the woods talking, but it's just silent. So, I guess I could talk about what I learned from all this, if there was anything. I definitely learned how to make my own trail on the forest. That's something I wasn't really accustomed to before this. I don't know what else I learned. I guess I just learned to respect nature, and it can tell me where to go and where not to go. It can tell me, oh man, they're perfect too. These are thorns. Oh crap. Just gonna try to go over them. No, that's a bad idea. Oh God. Oh, it's caught me. Caught by the leg. Oh man. Ow. Oh my Lord. Yikes. Okay. What was I saying? Respecting nature. Oh. I really thought this was going to be easy. Ultimately, that's the lesson. Nothing's easy. Nothing in life is ever easy. Least of all, finding endangered animals. Least of all, finding really tiny endangered animals. But I don't think all is lost. Hopefully this makes some sort of interesting video. Hopefully you can hear me. Oh man, there's people. I didn't realize how close I was getting to the campsite. I gotta get this way. Hopefully they can't hear me. Okay, where was I? I was trying to figure out lessons from this failure. Oh. Ultimately, I just want to be able to say that I've done this, that I tried, that I did everything I could to raise awareness of bog-bean buck moth. I think that's something that you can definitely say. I tried my hardest. Oh, wasn't for a lack of trying. What else? What else did I learn? I learned that I'm not really a fan of bogs. I much prefer the forest. I think I'd like to do this more though. Not this. But stuff like this, where I go out and I learn about interesting animals that aren't too far away from where I am. At least for the time being. One day when I feel confident, maybe that's when I'll fly to some tropical rainforest somewhere and go looking for something. But for now, I think this is pretty good. I'm proud of myself, for what it's worth. What else do I have to say about the bog-bean buck moth? I've met a few people out here while doing this. I've met some people at the campsite, and just, in these woods and in all their parking spots. I've asked every single one of them about the bog-bean buck moth. If they knew it. Locals, people who live in that RV camp, none of them had. Even worse than that, I've gone to all of the Deer Creek Wildlife Management Area signs, and there's nothing posted about the bog-bean buck moth. There's no information available to the public, unless you know to look for it, that'll tell you that there are moths here that are special. And so that's ultimately my goal. It's just so that maybe somebody out here will know a thing or two about them. And maybe somebody will see them. That's the thing. I came out here for a day, 3 days, and I'd see them. But people who live here, they could see them, anytime. So they really, they really are the ones that you gotta educate, because they'll be on the lookout. Got more thorns. I feel like I'm rambling, but this is kind of how, isn't this how YouTubers do it? I don't know.
After this, I'll admit I was pretty close to giving up, both on this quest and on this video, as 3 days is all the time I'd given myself before I needed to return home, and no one wants to watch a video of me simply failing to even enter the bog. But after some reflection, I decided this experience wasn't a complete failure, as I had still learned a lot about this environment. Primarily, I'd learned just how impenetrable the bog is from the outside, and so if I ever wanted to see it up close, I'd have to figure out another way to get inside. That's when I realized the answer had been staring me in the face all along, as Deer Creek itself leads straight into both Lakeside 3 and 4. So after getting back home, I bought a kayak. Once I had this, I made the 2-hour drive back up to these bogs, hoping this would finally give me a chance to observe this moth. Foolishly, however, I did not check the weather before leaving, which pretty immediately turned out to be an obvious mistake when I arrived just as the sky was getting clouded and it soon started to rain.
But I'm here for my final day. I got my kayak, it's right over there. And would you look at this, guys? It's drizzling. It's not pouring rain, it's just drizzling, but I don't think it's smart to set out on a kayak while it's raining. So I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna wait here until it either stops raining or I just have to go back home. But I hope you can see here. Is that it? Yeah.
And this feels like a good time to tell you that the bog-bean buck moth, like many moths, spends most of its life as a caterpillar and is only actually in its flying form for 1 month out of the year, starting mid-September to mid-October. This is important because the special kayak I ordered took 2 weeks to arrive, and so by the time I'd gotten all the way back up here, it was mid-October already, so this was my last chance to see them until next year. Fully aware of this, I patiently waited in my car for 3 hours until the rain died down, and with only a few hours left in the day, I finally launched my kayak.
It just stopped raining. I just saw a bald eagle, but it just stopped raining, and I'm finally getting on the river. I just spent the past 2 or 3 hours waiting in my car, waiting for it to stop raining. Finally did. I hope it doesn't start again. Then I'm just screwed. I decided it's gonna be a minimal shoot. I'm not gonna try to do all the fancy stuff. I'm not gonna set up my camera someplace and then kayak by. Maybe I will, I don't know. That sounds sort of fun. But here I am. I'm in the Deer Creek Marsh.
Paddling down Deer Creek, the waters were surprisingly calm, making for a pleasant trip, and it wasn't long before I reached a fork in the creek.
Alright, so over there, that's the way to Lake Ontario, Lakeside 4. But then this way, the way I'm drifting right now, this is the way to Lakeside 3. So I'm gonna keep paddling up. This is where I've been before. Oh man, I can't do it without my 2 hands. Oh. Okay, hang on.
This marked the way into Lakeside 3, so I followed it until at long last I was in the heart of this site.
Okay, so now I'm starting to enter Lakeside 3. And immediately, I'm looking for bog bean again. I don't see it. I don't see anything that even looks like bog bean. You got all these little lily pads or whatever they are. All this like lizard tail or whatever. I don't see any bog bean. But I'm keeping my eyes open. It took an hour of kayaking to get here. I'm soaking wet, covered in mud, and I'm supposed to look for a moth. This doesn't even feel like a place a moth would be. But I guess that's why this was the only place I left. I'm gonna try to find for you where I fell in. It's a very meaningful spot for me now. Oh, I'm getting closer here. You all see? You all see those trees? Those trees are where I was that first day when I put on those waders. Is this bog bean? No. You're not even looking. The camera's not even there. Those trees right over there, that's the peninsula. Right? You see it on the animation. That's where I was. I want to give you a sight of my cabin real quick. This is what I'm dealing with. It's pretty muddy, but nobody ever said this is going to be a clean job. Alright, still looking for it.
Although this proved to be a much easier method for exploring these areas, I still failed to find any bog bean despite my best efforts, and without that there's no chance of finding the bog bean buck moth. So after spending an hour or two here, I decided to turn back and head down the creek towards Lakeside 4.
Okay, it's a little easier to see now. Here, look. That is still Deer Creek. This is Lakeside 4.
This site was much more chaotic than the other, and I ended up paddling down all sorts of little offshoot trails trying to get a good look at the plants.
I know this camera has audio too. I don't think it's very good though. So I'm not going to talk to you a lot. I'm not going to burn your ears like that. But this is Lakeside 4 I'm paddling through. I brought mics, by the way. I did have a microphone. I would have to plug it into my phone and everything, and I don't want to do that. Alright, well, I think this is it. Look. There's nowhere really left for me to go. Except for back the way I came. So, I must be in it, right? This must be it. I guess I'm just gonna look around some more.
Though once again, I failed to find even a single stalk of bog bean, and before I knew it, the sun was going down, meaning I didn't have enough time to visit Lakeside 5, so I paddled back up Deer Creek and headed home in defeat for a 4th time. Once again, I didn't know if I should continue my search or cut my losses and just give up. But here's the thing, last time I did something like this, I searched for a literally extinct animal, so it makes sense that eventually I had to give up. But this time around, what I'm looking for is only endangered, implying it does still exist. And this knowledge that somewhere just out there the bog bean buck moth still flies made it impossible for me to quit. So for the next year, I sat on this project and used this time to meditate about my experiences in the bog and how to do it better next time. Month after month, video after video went by until finally September 24 rolled around and it was moth season once more. As I drove up to Oswego for the 3rd and hopefully final time, I decided that if I was going to spend even more time, money, and energy on this crazy project, then I needed to focus on where my chances were best, Lakeside 5. So I made this hike once more and found myself right where I left off, only this time I remembered to bring my waders. Not only was the vegetation more dense than I remembered, but this area had also flooded since the last time I'd been here, turning what had been a muddy channel into a full-blown moat that I needed to cross.
Okay, I'm pretty much exactly where I was a full year ago, and as you can see, it's a bit more flooded than it was last year. There's a whole lot of water everywhere here now. If you remember, all of this was dry. It was just muddy last time, but now I'm really just swimming out here. All I gotta do is cross this. It's just so tough not knowing where you're stepping. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do. Okay, this is what we got ahead of us. It's still raining, as you can see. Look, it is. It's raining. But look, now we got this blue one and that blue one down there. We're following these. Oh gosh. Oh shit.
Now, I know the footage doesn't truly convey how nerve-wracking this type of terrain is to trek through, but trust me, I couldn't actually see the ground I was walking on, and wherever my foot landed was so unstable that each step felt like it could send me plunging into the water. Still, I carried on, trusting my waders to keep me dry. At last, I passed through the deepest part of the moat, and the ground started feeling more secure again. As I made my way onto the other side of it, the trees thinned out, and for the first time, I found myself in the bog.
Alright, I'm in the bog. I am in Lakeside 5 as we speak, and I'm getting deeper. I have a long way to walk, but I've gained my confidence. I don't think the ground is just gonna fall out from under me anymore. I really hope the audio is good on this. It's raining, and sometimes when the mic gets water in it, it's no good. Oh, okay, here we go. Look. I came from that direction. That is my path. Those are the trees. This is where I'm going. Okay, I made it to the break in the bog. Look, this is where I'm at now. Unfortunately, you might not be able to tell, it's raining. It's raining and I am really cold right now. And I'm wet, even though I'm not soaking wet. And if it keeps raining, I might have to turn back. But I want to get as far out as possible. I still have not seen any bog meat, by the way. Whoa. Yes. Oh my god. That, I was getting too confident.
I cannot tell you guys how happy I am that I'm actually in the bog now. Like, look at this. This is just, oh man. I mean, it doesn't look like much on camera, but knowing that this is the one last environment to find the bog bean buck moth, I don't know, there's something amazing about being out here. I gotta keep going this way.
From here, my initial goal was to follow this trail all the way to the unnamed pond at the center of this basin, as my thoughts were that would be where I would find the greatest concentrations of bog bean. However, before I could even get there, something else caught my eye. 3 emerald green leaves on a single stem, peeking out from between gaps in the dry grass.
I think that's bog bean.
And I can't tell you how exciting even just this was to see, as with bog bean present, suddenly the possibility of actually finding one of these moths became very real. Because, as you all know, the bog bean buck moth feeds on bog buck bean, so seeing these 3 leads was my first big clue that I was in the right spot. Pretty soon, I started finding whole groves of bog bean, made easy to spot thanks to their plump green leaves against the pale grass.
Check this out. That, all these, all this little bright green and black grass, that, all these little bright, that's bog bean. This is a big patch of bog bean right here. The leaves, not the grass. It feels like this is exactly where I was in one of these moths.
Seeing this made me feel like I might glimpse a moth at any moment, though I continued making my way to the pond.
I think that's the pond right there. It's hard to see from here, but you can see it slopes down and then there's trees. I think those trees right there, oh the water's getting in the way. Trees right there, I think that's the pond. Pond is right there. Oh, can you see it? It's right there.
All I gotta do now is figure out how to get through all this brush right here to it. But I'm seeing bog bean everywhere, so I don't think this pond is as important as I thought it was. But I don't know, we should still go check it out, see if there's a lot of bog bean there, or if where I am right now has all the bog bean. Wow.
There's the pond right there, you see it?
That's where I'm going.
Okay. We're getting to the pond now. The pond's right over there. Oh gosh. I hope you can see. Oh my god, I almost lost my balance.
There's the pond. All right, I finally made it all the way to the pond. You can see that. Whoa. That is out in the middle of Lakeside 5, which is where I am right now. The reason I wanted to come here is because I thought this would be the best place to find bog bean buck moths, but as you can see, there's nothing really growing in this pond. I thought this would all be full of bog bean, but it's just lily pads. There's no bog bean. I did see bog bean, but it's all the way back there, or it's really just all the way in here. So now that I made it here, and I know this is not where I want to be, I'm just gonna keep exploring, I guess, and see if I get lucky, because that's really what it's about from here on out. I'm in the spot, I'm seeing bog bean. I went to the one place I thought there would be more bog bean, but there isn't. So now it's just about wandering around, spending time here. I can't believe I'm actually out here. What was that? Every little white speck that I see triggers my eyes into thinking it's a moth. Is that a moth? I don't think so. It's just dead leaves. There's these little white flowers everywhere that keep triggering me too. I don't know. Yeah, that's just a leaf. That's the tricky part, is now I have to find a moth in a bog. I don't know, look at this.
After coming to this conclusion, I backtracked a little and returned to where I'd already found some bog bean. From here, I figured the only thing left to do was wait, and eventually...
Oh my god, guys, look. Oh my god, it's flying. Oh my god, there it is. That's one, that's totally one. Oh my gosh, do you guys see it? You can't see it. It's too small. I'm not even looking where I'm walking, but I can totally see it. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm following that. Oh, where's it gonna land? I can still see it from here. Oh my god, it's still flying. You guys see it? No, you can't see it at all. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? Oh my god. Did you guys see that? I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but I saw one. I did not think I was gonna see one. It's right over there. I don't know if I have the right cameras for this, but I'm going towards it because I saw one. I absolutely saw one. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was going back to get more batteries. Of course I'm low on batteries right now, but I saw one and I know it. And it came over here somewhere. I 100% saw one. This is not a joke. Oh my god. I thought I'd have to spend so long out here before I saw one. I cannot believe that. It's over here somewhere. Holy crap. No, that wasn't it. Okay, I'm gonna try to conserve battery because I was just trying to go back to my bag and get more. I got 20% battery left. Oh my god, it was right over here. Crap. They fly far and for a very long time. It was not just up and down, it was to a whole new spot. Shoot, man, I lost it. God. Oh, how am I gonna film these? That's something I didn't even think about. This GoPro is not gonna capture it. Oh, I gotta go look at that footage now.
While this footage isn't the best, you can see very briefly this one black and white speck flying through the air. I know it's not much, but even this filled me with enough hope to stay out here, and not long after this...
I cannot believe I saw one. Oh my god. My heart is racing. I can't describe it. It's like it just came out of nowhere. Oh my gosh. It's right here somewhere. I don't know where. I don't want to use up all my battery, but I cannot. Whoa! It's luring me. It's luring me deeper into the bog. I didn't look where I was going at all. It could be like right here for all I know. Oh man. Man, I saw one. Holy crap. Oh, if anything, I'm leaving this bog happy. If I could get some footage of one, holy crap, oh my God. I cannot believe I saw one though. I thought this was impossible. I thought it was possible, and then I came here, and then I thought it was impossible. And now I think it's possible again. Oh my God, now my eyes are... Okay, I gotta stop recording. I gotta stop talking. I just gotta find this moth. Oh my God, it was right in front of me too. Wow. Wow, holy crap. Okay, I'm finding this moth. What's the battery on? 22%? 22%. Can we find this moth on 22% battery? Or do I have to go back and get more? I have more batteries, but they're not with me. I didn't want to bring them into the bog. Holy crap, holy crap. I cannot believe it. Oh man. All right, I just gotta go look for it now. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. It's been a while since I've recorded anything, but I just saw another one fly right over here. I don't know where again. The fact that I'm seeing them is really something special. It's over here. Oh. I think I might have gotten in a little too deep in this video. Oh man, it just sucks knowing it's right here and I can't find it. I am gonna get a close-up shot of a bog bean buck. If it means wading through this entire bog. It's gotta be like right over here, man. All right, I'm gonna stop recording again. I don't know why I started. Oh, there's one. Do you see it, guys? Is it coming to me? Can you see the line? Oh, where's it coming? Where's it going? Oh, it's going that way. Oh no. Oh man, it's too far.
As the day went on, I continued to catch glimpses of these moths fluttering over the horizon, always too far and too fast for me to get a satisfying shot of. Of course, that didn't stop me from trying. Finally, by the end of the day, I did manage to capture this, where the moth got close enough to allow us to really see its white and black coloration, plus its impressive size, for a moth anyway. Now technically, I could have called it here, as I had succeeded in capturing footage of America's most elusive moth, but could I really say I had preserved them through video? That's a much harder case to make, as you still can't definitively identify this moth using this footage alone. No, I need a close-up shot that eliminates all doubt. So the next day, I returned with this express goal in mind.
All right, today is my last day in the bog again. And yesterday, I saw some moths, but they were all in the air and I didn't get any good footage of them. So today, the goal today, oh gosh, the goal today is to just get just one shot where you can actually identify it as a bog bean buck moth. Whoa! If I can do that, this will be a success. This mission will be a success. Oh, can I? That remains to be seen. But I'm back in the bog. There's nothing to do but wait.
Though unlike the day before, I wasn't seeing anything, despite being in the same exact spot, and I started to think the rain might have something to do with it. So I decided to try exploring a different corner of the bog, figuring the more ground I covered, the better, and so I followed whatever twists and turns the narrow paths led me down. And then, by some miracle, while I was filming myself, something truly amazing happened. I'm just gonna play the whole clip for you, so I set up the shot, walk past the camera, and go as far as I think the camera can see me before turning around. I usually edit these parts out and just use the portion of me walking towards camera, but on the way back I spotted something that froze me in my tracks. Now, I'll admit in this moment I forgot to be a YouTuber and have some big reaction for the camera. Instead, I raced to take out my phone as it was the only other camera I had on me and immediately went to work. I spent the next several minutes totally engrossed by what I was seeing that I forgot I was even filming myself.
You guys gotta see this.
Nestled within the stalks of a dried fern, I'd glimpsed a massive black and white moth. And although I'm no expert lepidopterist, given the environment I was in, I can only assume at long last I'd come face to face with a bog bean buck moth.
Do you guys see this? Do you see it? Look. Wow. Oh my god, it's one of the moths. I can't believe it.
Fortunately, he wasn't spooked by my presence, allowing me to get real up close and personal with my camera, and by doing so, I think I can make out the reason why on his wings, where we can see drops of water. It appears the rain did affect the moths after all, forcing them to hunker down and wait for the storm to pass. This gave me a brief window to capture as much footage as I possibly could, and boy did I make use of it. Though all too soon, the rain diminished enough for the moth to awaken and begin flexing its wings. Soon after, he started vibrating his whole body, presumably trying to shake the water droplets off his wings. Once he'd finished drying off, he started flapping to take flight, and before long, as quickly as I'd spotted him, he was gone. Witnessing this was the absolute highlight of this project, and honestly, one of the best moments of my life. For the first time, I'd gotten to use everything I love learning about, geography, biology, ecology, and put it to the test in a meaningful way. I'd fallen into this bog, I've bled in this bog, I pushed myself well past my comfort zone, I nearly quit more than once, and all without anything to show for it. But I never gave up, and because of that, I'm proud to say footage of these threatened animals in their native habitat does now exist. Now I can rest assured knowing that even if these moths do disappear someday, there will always be this record of their presence here. Fortunately, that doesn't appear to be in their immediate future, as after the rain died down, more started to come out as well, and pretty soon I was visited by moths passing by every minute or so. Again, these were flying all over the place, so I wasn't able to get the best shots of them, but it didn't matter to me at this point, as I had the footage I needed. Everything else was just a bonus. After a while, I stopped filming altogether and simply started enjoying the feeling of being in the outdoors. It's hard to describe, but standing out in that bog in the presence of those moths really made this place feel enchanted, like I was witnessing the real-life embodiment of nature spirits. The moths flew for a very long time, so if you tried, you could follow them, hoping they might come in your direction. Along the way, you can almost see what they're up to, taking a look at one thing before moving on to another, lending them a real sense of intelligence.
Whoa.
I think it goes without saying that now more than ever, I believe this bog to be a special place deserving of protection, and to go one step further, an almost sacred place where a habitat that's been here since the last ice age has managed to persist despite all the odds. So before I finish this video, I feel like I need to tell you all, please don't do what I did. I know this might sound like a fun adventure to try to do yourself, especially if you're from the area, but the truth is this bog is incredibly fragile, and it's seeing any more traffic than it already does could have some catastrophic consequences. I would hate to learn that after watching this video, someone busted into this bog and damaged part of it, or even worse, tried to harm or capture some of the moths, either for a collection or worst of all, to sell. I'll remind you, these are now federally listed as endangered, and disturbing them in any way is considered a felony. Which feels like a good time to mention that I did my utmost to minimize disturbance to the environment. Not an easy thing to do while trudging through uneven, unseen mud in thick rubber waders. But to be completely honest, damage to the landscape is inflicted with every footstep, no matter how careful you are, so the best thing we can do for these creatures in the long run is to stay out of their home entirely. Instead, my hope is that watching this video will inspire you to investigate your own local area to try to learn about some of the unexpected species closest to you, as if there's anything to be learned from the bog bean buck moth, it's that incredible things can be found in the most unexpected places. So please, use this as your excuse to get out there and do some exploring of your own, just don't follow exactly in my footsteps. If you absolutely must go searching for these moths, I'll remind you Lakeside 3 and 4 are still big question marks and considerably easier to access, so that's where you should direct your attention. But please, please, please leave Lakeside 5 alone. Though that's a bit of a downer to end this video on, so I'll finish up by saying I'm often asked why I bother putting so much time and effort going on these excursions to find things no one has ever heard or cares about when I could just stay home and pump out more videos every day. And honestly, I don't have a good answer for that. Sometimes it's to feel like I'm learning something new. Other times it's to feel like I'm doing something important with my life. And yet most of the time it's simply because I can't think of a reason why not to. I've spent the past, 7 years on this channel learning and teaching about geography and the environment. So if you ask me, getting out into the real world and exploring is the next and only logical step. After all, what's even the point of learning about maps if you never end up using them to find anything? Well, that's exactly what I set out to accomplish on this project. To use maps and my own knowledge to find something I'll treasure for the rest of my life. And now that I've done that, all that's left to say is the bog bean buck moth feeds on bog buck bean.